Talking about the Island Boy. All right, there you go, Mojo. There's your Island Boys intro. I don't have Jay with me right now, so it's Island Boy, not Island Boys. But good morning, everybody. How you guys doing? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. It was my Halloween weekend. I was dressed up as Han Solo all weekend. I recycled my costume. So I rented my costume, and I have it for 3 days. So I used it on Friday, but I didn't really go out anywhere. But apparently everyone still saw me, because on Saturday I went out for the real Halloween party, and everyone's like, oh, you just recycled your costume. Apparently that's a faux pas. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. Hip-hop Halloween on a boat party. And then, yeah, a nice peaceful Sunday. I hope you guys had a fun one. Now, a lot of people are still doing Halloween this week, because obviously Halloween is tomorrow. But yeah, I hope you guys have some good costumes lined up, and let me know what your plan is if anybody's doing it. I went to a party on Friday. It was a Halloween party, and nobody was dressed up. I was like the only guy. I was like, God, what are we doing? This is ridiculous. All right, now, before I get into the stories, I do want to go over a little bit of, yeah, we said some gossip and some stories from outside of Thailand. So, first of all, I don't know if any of you are Friends fans in here, but Matthew Perry, of course, Chandler from Friends, died this weekend in his hot tub. Apparently, he had a heart attack, and as he had a heart attack, he slipped into his hot tub where he was relaxing and drowned. Very devastating event. He was only 54 years old. Now, Matthew Perry had struggled a long time with addiction problems and lived a very hard life. So it's really sad story, not entirely unexpected, right? There's a famous quote that he said that was making the rounds that was a bit eerie. It's strange to be in a world where everyone will be shocked when you die, but no one will be surprised. So a strangely poignant quote that he made, and yeah, a little bit haunting here at the end. So I'll be watching some Friends in memory of him. Now, in terms of other things going on around the world, we still have, of course, Israel-Palestine is raging on, the war with Hamas, and the bombing of Gaza is pretty intense. So we'll stay up to date with that. Thailand is, of course, still urging its residents and citizens to get out of that area if they can. However, of course, there are major financial incentives for a lot of Thai nationals to stay there as well. So we'll see how those competing incentives line up over time. Now, what do we got? Sad news, Mojo says, but the opposite of Charlie Sheen. Yeah, it's strange. I bet we all expected Charlie Sheen to kick the bucket a little bit quicker than that. But no, Matthew Perry was also very famously struggling with substance abuse issues throughout his entire life. So that'll take a toll on your ticker, and especially when you're, probably just isolated and alone in that kind of way. Very scary, so just falling right in. Now, Sick Puppy says, brutal memes coming out about Chandler. Oh, come on, let's have a little bit respect, because he had such a major influence. He was one of the highest paid. He was making $20 million a year just from Friends residuals. So this guy was set for life, and I'm sure he wanted a lot more of it than what he got at 54. So rest in peace, Chandler, Matthew Perry. Yeah, you brought us some good times, man. All right. Well, anyways, let's get out of that. I'm trying to brighten your day, not make it sadder, but it is important to pay a little tribute. So, Tan, what do you say we get into the news order for today, huh? All right, so we're going to start off with Phua Thai's new leader. Then we have a mass shooting. Oh, I said I was going to brighten your day. So we'll get a little darker first. Next one is the hospital. Then the lottery. Then sour milk. And then the Grab delivery driver. All right, everybody. Yeah, Mojo says, best sarcastic personality on TV ever. Definitely one of the best. Yeah, I think he influenced a lot of people. All right. Well, let's get into the news, boys. I'll stick around with you guys for some comments after. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section so I can catch up afterwards and try to remember what story is related to which statement you make. All right, guys, let's get into it. Good morning, Thailand. My name is Alex, and I'm here with some of the news updates from around the land of smiles from the Thaiger, starting with our main story, and that's that Pheu Thai, the ruling party of Thailand, has selected a new leader from a legacy family. So the Pheu Thai party of Thailand has named Pathongthan Shinawatra, a member of the influential billionaire Shinawatra family, as its new leader. The 37-year-old former businesswoman, also known as Ung Ing, was a prime ministerial candidate in a recent election, but the role was given to another nominee, of course, Tavisin. Despite challenges, the party formed a coalition with conservative parties after the Move Forward party was impeded from forming a government by an unelected Senate. Pathongthan, whose family has produced 3 former Thai premiers, pledged to uplift the people's lives and boost the party's popularity. Her father, Thaksin Shinawatra, recently returned from a 15-year self-imposed exile after his graft conviction was reduced. His return and subsequent medical treatment has reignited political speculations. The Shinawatra family is celebrated for its populist policies, but has also faced allegations of corruption. Yep, okay, I think no surprises here. Right, the Shinawatra legacy continues in the form of his daughter. So she's only 37 years old. That's a young politician, right? So she definitely has a future ahead of her. But that all hinges on the popularity of the Pheu Thai party and how they handle being in government and the policies that they're enacting as they head into their administration. So, yeah, there's a lot of policy issues that Pheu Thai is struggling with right now, from their 10,000 baht digital wallet scheme to other issues like what's going on in Israel and Gaza, and its relationship with Russia in particular is becoming the focus of international scrutiny. So let's see how Kun Ing is able to lift the popularity of the ruling party. All right, on to our next story. So there has been a rising tide of gun violence in Thailand, and that has culminated again in a mass shooting at a birthday party that has left 3 injured. So a birthday party near Prachanburi City municipality turned violent, resulting in 3 individuals being shot and injured. The victims were rushed to the Chao Phraya Hospital with Sutipaj critically wounded. Kun Sutipaj, one of the victims, Initial investigation suggests that the victims were either attending a former provincial administrative organization's secretary's celebration or a former provincial police officer's party. A confrontation between 2 armed groups at the celebration led to the shooting. Police are now on high alert at the hospital over concerns of potential further conflicts between the involved parties' families. So this seems like it was one of those passion crimes. Same thing happens in America, right? Like, the big news in America is usually some sort of mass shootings, kind of like what we had at Siam Paragon a few weeks ago, where it's just one crazed lone wolf situation. However, the majority of gun violence that happens in America, and I would assume that happens here in Thailand, has to do with rival parties who just happen to have guns. So like gangs in America, or in this case, 2 armed groups at this party. And the guns just start going off. So it's more like crimes of passion. Probably a lot of toxic masculinity involved in these situations. But it wasn't left at the party. They didn't get it all out. No deaths in this so far, thank goodness. But the police are on high alert at the hospital because they think this can continue to escalate. So, yeah, let's be careful with our guns, people. Keep them at home. Don't bring them to the party where people are drinking and going crazy. Stay safe. All right, well, speaking of injuries, let's move on to our next story, as one of Bangkok's biggest provinces is finally getting its very first hospital. So Bangkok's densely populated Sai Mai district, home to over 200,000 residents, is set to get its first hospital thanks to an initiative led by Bangkok Governor Kun Chadchat. During a visit to the district, the governor highlighted the urgent need for a healthcare facility, as currently most residents are directed to the Bhumibol Aduladej Hospital under the Royal Thai Air Force oversight. The upcoming Sai Mai Hospital will be constructed on a 20-rai plot of land donated by a local, who plans to introduce 2 public health centers. Addressing additional concerns, the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or BMA, is strategizing solutions for the district's traffic woes and flood-prone areas. Meanwhile, the 50 Districts, 50 Hospitals initiative by Public Health Minister Kun Chonnan will first benefit Bangkok's Don Mueang district. Yeah, that's pretty crazy to me that such a big district with over 200,000 residents doesn't yet have a serious health clinic available for its residents. So people were being directed to a nearby one. Of course, there's always healthcare available. Thailand is pretty good with healthcare. That's why there's so much medical tourism here. But still always good to have a more convenient one, right? Especially in those medical emergency situations where minutes count. This is probably gonna save a lot of lives. So good on them, and hopefully they'll be breaking ground on that soon. All right. Now on to our weird stories of the day. I got a few funky ones for you guys, and let's start off with our first one, as a very, very lucky factory worker has won the lottery 3 times in a row following what he claims a supernatural experience. So a factory worker, Kun Sunan, claimed that a revered monk and the legendary figure Tao Wesawun appeared in his dreams, guiding him to 3 consecutive lottery wins. Locals have swarmed the Nongko temple in Rayong province, eager for some luck of their own. The temple, housing statues of both revered figures, was buzzing with devotees, many bearing red roses, seeking good fortune and protection against misfortune. Sunan, having braved elements to attend the merit-making ceremony, recounted his dream encounters and subsequent lottery windfalls, sparking both awe and a rush of faith among fellow devotees. Whether chasing numbers for the next lottery or seeking divine protection, it's clear these locals are all in on the power of belief. Belief is a weird, crazy thing, right? Like I am, I find myself becoming more and more spiritual as I live in Thailand, because it feels like it's all around me all the time, with the spirit houses, the temples, just the general spirituality of Thai people, right? I'm used to a world like in America where religion comes with a healthy dose of hypocrisy, where you're seeing people say one thing and act another way. I feel like the religious people in Thailand are generally practicing what they preach. So it's funny to see, like, when that is the general culture of things, it makes it a lot easier for people to engage in faith-based activities like prayer and also wishing for lucky lottery numbers. So anyways, good luck to this guy, and good luck to you who are all playing. All right. We got another weird one for you. So an influencer is making the rounds on social media after selling sour milk on the streets. Let's get into it. Now, Zine, a popular figure on TikTok, has been spotted genuinely selling sour milk at an intersection in Lopburi, much to the admiration of netizens. The clip, shared by user at Bank MTTS46, emphasizes that she's not just creating content, but is sincerely working at the spot from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Following the video's spread, many expressed their surprise and respect for Zine's dedication to her job. Meanwhile, in Bangplat district, Samut Prakan province, locals came together to support another sour milk vendor after an accident, showcasing the community's compassion and solidarity. Wow, what a weird story. So first of all, we say sour milk in the West because we don't have a good word for what Yakult is. This is not something that we drink in the West, but is very, very popular in Asian countries. Yakult is not quite yogurt. It's not quite milk. It's some weird thing in the middle of it. What do you guys think? You guys like Yakult?
Not bad.
Yeah, not for me. Now, of course, it's very, very popular here in Asia. And this girl was out here selling the goods. You know, if you're just trying to make content, you would just make the content, right? You'd take your little clip, take a few seconds, and then leave. But apparently, they kept videotaping her. She was out there selling the stuff for 3 hours at least. So good on you, Zine. I don't know. Hopefully, she was raising the money for something good. I don't think she's making a lot of money selling Yakult. But, yeah, and also good on that other story where the vendor spilled everything. Poor guy. But then the community rallies around it. Another thing that I love about Thailand is that there's not much of a bystander effect here. When people see something go wrong, people step in to help all the time. I've seen it plenty of times in my everyday life, and here's another fine example of it. Good on you, Thailand. Keep helping each other out. All right. Now, our last story, and another, of course, strange one. So, Grab is making headlines as a delivery driver has taken a jet flight to ensure the right food is being brought to its customers. All right, so in a foul turn of events, a delivery rider took food cravings to new heights by flying from Thailand to Singapore just to fetch some chicken rice. Shared on TikTok by user at TitaVY, who was left clucking in disbelief aboard the same flight, the video showcased our adventurous rider armed with his trusty delivery bag. Pondering the lengths, or flights, some will go go for their favorite dish, at TitaVY jokingly considered ordering bubble milk tea from Taiwan next. Now, whether this is a wild PR stunt or just some rich taste buds at play, this hilarious escapade has the internet in fits of giggle and wonder. So how far would you go for your favorite chicken and rice dish? Funny one. This is, what is it, Come On Guy? A classic dish in Southeast Asia. You can get it here. You can get it in Singapore. You can get it pretty much anywhere. But if you have that one space, that one spot that just does it better than everybody else, apparently Grab is willing to go to the lengths. Now, the one thing I'm not sure about is how much that delivery fee is. Probably a pretty penny. So, yeah, eat local. Might be easier. All right, guys, that's some of the stories from around Thailand over the weekend. We'll be back with you again with our members tomorrow morning for our members-only show, and we'll be back open with all of our subscribers on Friday. Now I'll get into the comments, see what you guys have had to say about these stories. So how are we doing, everybody? Welcome, Damien. Hold on, who we got in here? I know we got Sick Puppy, Larry, Mojo. Is Clive in? What do we got? Wayne, Scott D, all my people. Damien, what's up? All right, happy Monday, everybody. All right, hey James, cool. No deaths. So yeah, Wayne, I'm very careful when I do stories that involve deaths here. I just you can read them all on Thaiger. We have all these stories. We're always up to date on all of that stuff. But in terms of putting this stuff out on social media, right? I don't want to be the guy that's just going for like clickbait, like, oh, somebody blah blah blah. Like, I'm trying to cater to, tell you the important stories, but just a random death here and there is not going to be a thing. A story like that is a good one for me because nobody did die, and it does highlight the problem of gun violence here in Thailand. I'll tell you a funny story. I was on, at Halloween, I was Han Solo, and I had a blaster, right? Like, I had like a fake gun with it, and it was always in my holster. But all night long, people were like, is that a real gun? You got a real gun? I mean, a lot of Thai people are like, cowboy. I guess they didn't know who Han Solo was. But legit, I got stopped a few times and asked if it was a real gun. So the second night I went out, I did not take it. So that's making me nervous, man. And yeah, I'm not into that. Let's see. Mojo says, too much hong tong and a bad joke that struck too close to home. Yeah, I guess so, man. That's the thing when guns are involved, right? Like, when guns aren't involved, these guys would just get into a fight, they'd punch each other a couple of times, and then somebody would break them up. But when there's a gun, that's a punctuation, right? That ends things very quickly. And, yeah, people die. So in this case, only one severely injured. He was shot in the leg, and it clipped an artery. So he was bleeding out, but they were able to stem the bleeding. He's in critical condition. I think he's stable, though, so he should be able to come out of it. All right. Damien says, reason all MU rifles are locked up. Yeah. I mean, but apparently this might have been at a police party too. So this happens, we've done stories on police shootings too, where there's been police on police, violence. So clearly there's some factions going on within the police, and they have access to guns. Obviously, a lot of some of the mass shootings that we've covered here on the Thaiger have been involved with former police officers who have that easy access to firearms. So that's something that needs to be considered as well. All right. Why does the Thaiger seem to be more American audience focused now? Because I'm American. I don't know. I'm sorry. We had Australian before. Then we had some local Thai girls. But yeah, I try to keep my focus purely on Thailand. Sorry, it's being delivered in an American accent. But yeah, it is, I'll tell you our audience, we do have a lot of Americans. Our biggest audience is British, American, and Australian. So, and most of our members are Americans, so sorry about that. But welcome, James. Good to see you here. Isn't Yakult yak milk? No, I don't think it's yak milk. Mojo, you do seem like you'd be an expert on yak milk, though. I don't know what they're drinking up in Iceland, but I love it. Yeah, so it is a probiotic. It's healthy for you. But for me, if I'm going for the probiotics, I'm just going to do yogurt, regular yogurt. Not for me. Thank you, boys. Yakult was one of every time I try it, right? I'm a big fan of trying things until I acquire the taste, right? If I don't like something, I keep trying it. I force myself to eat it. Yakult is one of those things that I keep trying, and I just cannot get myself to like it. We'll get there, though. Let's see. Mojo says, didn't know chicken and rice in Singapore was that bad. You have to order it from Thailand. I love it. Yeah, I really don't know what that story is. That's definitely a publicity stunt for Grab. Whatever it is, or if this lady really spent that much money, like that can't be cheap. She's got to buy a plane ticket to get this chicken and rice, and by the time it gets to you, it's gonna be cold. So I really don't know what that story was. I just picked it out this morning because I'm like, it's a funky one. Thought you guys might be interested in learning about it. But yeah, Wayne, you think you're right. Grab flight, expensive rice. Yeah, I don't know. Is that a new? Don't they have like Uber for planes now too, right? Where you can like do like Grab plane for private jets. I don't know. The wealthy are just living in a different world than we are. It must be nice. Maybe one day, dream of stardom and private jets. All right. Mojo says, yeah, Wayne, the flight might have been cheaper than the food. You never know when a good deal drops in Asia. That's true. There's tons of like countries, especially post-COVID. There was lots of deals, right? Like just sort of like reboot tourism, and still tons of countries are struggling with that. Thailand, of course, like we went through a really bad low season, actually. This low season was pretty slow because the whole world opened up, so now people are a lot more able to travel to different destinations and locations. But there are still many countries that are struggling way worse than Thailand to try and get more tourism back. China, for example. Nobody's going to China anymore. Their numbers have plummeted in terms of not only foreigners who are going there to live there and work, but just the number of people who are going for a visit. That has plummeted to very low levels, and it's not really recovering. So I think China's going to try to do some incentives like cheap flights to get us all coming back there at some point. Let's see, and it looked like that was a Thai Vietjet. Yeah, it must have been a cheap flight then, Mojo, huh? Remember, we play, Sick Puppy says, we played Cowboys and Indians. All of us had toy guns. Yeah, but you had those toy guns with like the little orange cap on the front of it. It was a simpler time, Sick Puppy. But yeah, I don't know, man. There's clearly an ongoing mental health crisis going on worldwide, especially with things like social media and the internet and the constant, we're constantly connected, but, in a different way. Like that familial human friendship connection is harder to come by, especially as we become adults. Like it's harder to make friends and things like that. So that increasing sense of isolation in a world that seems to be more and more connected to each other, this is something that we have to reconcile. And I think a lot of countries, especially in Asia, don't take the mental health aspect of health as seriously as they should. So, yeah, go see a therapist, people, especially you, Mojo. All right, what do we got? Mojo, but I am the biggest audience. Yeah. Wayne, the rare Canadian member. Yeah, I got to say, yes, Canadians, of course, too. What am I talking about? We are very popular with the Anglosphere. And I'll tell you another interesting demographic I've learned of recently. The Burmese and the Filipinos living here actually watch this channel a lot because, they don't understand Thai. So they come in to see me speaking in this very clear American accent, unlike the British accent. Have a cup of water. Sorry, James. I don't know. I won't do that again. I don't know. There was always a reason why Americans and Canadians were very preferred to say our British friends were fine. The Scottish, though, and the Irish were always struggling to find work as English teachers because the Asians here just could not understand them. So, the Americans and Canadians speak very clearly. We pronounce our R's and every letter in the word. But, I think that's important when you're trying to make content for an international audience like we're trying to do here. Sick Puppy says, grab publicity stunt for sure. Definitely. Here I am playing into it. But who knows? I don't know. Maybe I use Grab all the time. I don't know about you guys. Like, I'm fairly happy with the app. Like, it's made my life super convenient in terms of like getting from point A to point B, or if I need to order some food easily. Like, it's worked for me. And oh my God, is it a million times better than Uber? All right, so like I have a soft spot for all things Thailand, but Grab is another one of those things. So take your publicity spot, Grab. Enjoy it for the day. Mojo's like, don't need Sherlock Holmes to figure that out. Yeah, it's true. But should Thaiger be? Maybe I'll hit him up, get a sponsorship from them or something. Let's see. We used to put black tape on the red tip so it would look real. Mojo, you're asking to get shot over there. Careful, man. Yes, the root cause of SSRI is SSRI's widespread use. Look it up. I'll look that up. I don't know what that is. But then there were no handguns here at the time. Well, that makes sense, Mojo. If there are no handguns, then they're probably not worried about kids running around with things that look like them. Smelly Somtam. I love watching you. So hot. Thank you. You smelly. And Mojo, we had 38 specials. Oh, yeah. Classic cowboy stuff. There you go, sick puppy. And finally, Mojo, you said you can find news from Ireland that are subtitled because the Irish don't even understand what's being said. Oh, antidepressants. Thank you, sick puppy. Yeah. Hurdy-burdy, dirty-dirty. No, it's after me, Lucky Charms. And then Scotland is just like if drunk was an accent, right? Like if the entire nation was drunk at the same time. That's why if you're hanging out with Scottish people, your best bet is to get drunk, and then you can understand them. I actually we had a Scottish comedian. We had a Scottish comedian here last week who was in town. He runs some nights back in Glasgow. He's Glaswegian. And, dude, it was so tough to understand him. Not only that, like, first of all, they have a much darker sense of humor than what we're used to here in Thailand. Brits are always dark, generally. The British Isles produce a very dry and acerbic humor. But it only works if we understand what you're saying. So, yeah, a lot of Scottish and Irish have to figure out how to tone down their accent when they come out here. And I've known plenty of Scottish friends that can do it. But if you're coming out here just for a visit, right? Like if you live out here, it takes time and you can tone it down. It's still Scottish, but it's softer. But if you're coming out for a visit, man, I don't know. I don't know how they can understand each other up there. They probably don't. That's why they headbutt each other all the time. Anyways, yeah, pup, I'll look it up. And Mojo, everybody look up Frankie Boyle. I don't know who that is. I'll Google them too. All right, guys, but that's it for the news from me. I will catch up with you guys, all our members, again tomorrow. Guys, please consider joining so you can keep up with us all week. It's 200 baht a month. I think that's like, I don't know, $5 if you can. And then you can join us every day for our news updates and hang out with the members and all the cool kids in there. But until then, I will see you guys. Have a wonderful Monday. Ta-ta.